This is the Unit 2, Chapter 4 review of views of Earth's past for Earth Science 7th grade.
Rocks, fossils, and original remains, they give clues about the past. Fossils are the trace of remains of living things from the past. And this is how we know that dinosaurs were once living on Earth, is because we were able to find their bones in fossils and be able to determine things like how big they were, where they lived, what kind of things that they ate, and what kind of things that they did. Remember that fossils are the trace remains of things that were once living. It's not going to be things that were around at the time. Those are typically going to disintegrate, but these are living organisms. So conditions have to be just right for a fossil to form in rock. You have to have the hard parts of the organism that stay behind after the soft parts have decomposed. Those hard parts, they're going to decompose slowly, so therefore they're going to stick around and stay as the rock is formed around them. Now this typically happens in sedimentary rock only. It's not going to happen in igneous rock because igneous rock, the heat is too high, but in sedimentary rock it's going to occur because it's layers and layers of rock that are layered together over time with pressure, and so those decomposing parts from the animals that lived, those are going to stay in there while the rock is forming around it. For instance, if you take a look at this fossil here, you can see that its hard pieces, the bone and the skeletal structure, are what was left behind inside of the sedimentary rock. When it comes to dating rock layers, the biggest thing to remember is relative age. Now, relative age, that's the age in relation to other objects. Sedimentary layers, like the ones you see here, they will have information about the ages of events and objects that happened in Earth's history because of the time frames in which they are formed. The bottom layer of rock forms first, which means it's the oldest, and then each layer above that is younger, and the top layer is the youngest of all. So we've got the oldest here at the bottom, right down here. And then up here at the top would be the youngest layer because they form after each other. Hutton's theory from back in the 1700s is called Uniformitarianism. No, I will not ask you how to spell that, but this is how you do that. Uniformitarianism. This is the idea that Earth is always changing. But it's also the same idea that the forces at work way back in the past are still the same ones happening today, and they're still the ones happening into the future. This theory is also the basis of modern geology. And next up is a geologic timescale. Now this is where things are going to get tricky because this is where our history is divided into parts that are quite different. You need to know these parts, so make sure to give yourself lots of room to write this on your note card. There are 4 different divisions of time. So the very first one is an eon, and then underneath that would be the era, then the period, and then the epoch. All right, so we have Precambrian time. Okay, and within this are the eons of Hadean, Archean, and Proterozoic. Now, all of these together make up about 90% of Earth's history. Now, the fossil record during the Precambrian time is pretty small. You might even want to say it's microscopic because all of the organisms during that time could not be seen without a microscope. Precambrian time started what we assume was about 4,800 million years ago. So that would be 4.8 billion years ago. And it ended about 543 million years ago. So about the first 4 billion years of Earth's history all happened within the Precambrian time. One thing you'll notice about the Precambrian time, so this time frame, is that it is not separated out into the other sections, such as the eras or periods or epochs. It is all just together. It's not separated out for one main reason. There just wasn't much happening back then. Remember, we didn't have a whole lot of change occurring in the biology structure and so forth of things on Earth. And so therefore, because there wasn't much going on, it's not really likely to be able to change it out or break it out into smaller periods like we can with all of this stuff up in here. Now, because there was so much going on up in this region, in the Phanerozoic era, or eon, then that's why it's separated out into all of these different things. And what you'll notice is we humans happened way up in this area, up where the mammals come into the picture. And in fact, it's right up in this tiny little section up here in the top, up in the Quaternary period, that we actually happened about 100,000 years ago. I'm going to conclude this, as I always do, with a good luck wish for you. Don't forget to write down everything that you've heard on here and everything else you think you might need to know for the test, and good luck.